I come from a creative background, so because right now I work in marketing space, so I tend to be very creative in that.
Right.
So where is the balance? How to find balance between being strategic and between being creatively right?
Oh, that's a superb question, right? Because sometimes you get lost in being too creative,
Correct.
and we find that problem every now and then, right? You go so creative that you lose focus of business outcomes and
Exactly.
results. And on the flip side, you have guys who focused on business
Only on
outcomes and they lose the objective of creativity. I think it's also to do with what you want to achieve. Authentic marketing, that's so important, right? That's how you stand out from the clutter. There was a fall from grace.
Yeah.
And that's the flip side of attaching a brand to an individual. I mean, you're always vary. Do you have a bigger vision and a mission? Do you have a bigger plan? Are you strategic about your market? I don't think anyone will ever look at a category ad and say, oh, this doesn't work.
Hello, viewers. We're back again with yet another episode of Get Nuanced, and we have with us Mr. Roch Ferriera, who is an expert in the field of marketing. And it would be interesting for us to understand marketing at a fundamental level for our viewers. So, welcome to Get Nuanced.
Thank you.
I think it would be very fundamental for us to start our conversation with what essentially is marketing in current age for our viewers.
So that's an interesting question. You know, marketing has. So if you go back to the basics, right? Marketing is essentially making sure a person buys your products, offerings, solutions, right? Ideally at the price you want, and you're making it available to him at his or her convenience. Now, this is taken on different forms. 25 years back, it was about Philip Kotler and the 4 Ps, and then 6 Ps and the 8 Ps. And then we have digital marketing, which has come up front and center stage, right? Which has taken over. And I think what has remained consistent through the whole process is certain marketing gimmicks, which actually gimmicks is the wrong word, certain marketing fundamentals, which really hold strong, right? Authentic marketing, that's so important, right? That's how you stand out from the clutter. And authentic marketing doesn't mean that you can't go and talk about your offerings and your products and talk about your USPs, but you need to do it in a genuine manner. I think marketeers need passion to make sure that they are putting their best foot forward for authentic marketing, and not just throwing jargon at people, right? The second one is really about emotional marketing. It's more about appealing to a consumer or a customer client's heart, appealing to his mind through his heart. Today we are appealing to eyeballs, right? Clicks,
right,
and reach and circulation and all of that. And somewhere along the way, we lose focus of the basics of marketing. I think that's so important now to look at it from an emotional standpoint, right?
So how do we ensure that the marketing remains authentic at heart? Because what I see is majority of the brands we are emerging right now create a sort of storyline around their products. Like for example, the recent buy I had was a leather jacket, which was sold by a guy who was telling the story of the jacket itself.
Correct.
Right from procurement of the basic product, basic raw material, to polishing, and to then glorifying the product, like who wore it, why they wore it, and why was it so essential, and what role it played in pop culture.
Right.
So for all sort of brands, irrespective of which industry they are, how to remain authentic and how to be creatively upfront in the kind of attention economy that we live in today.
So influencer marketing, of what you mentioned about your jacket, is more short term, right? As long as that particular influencer is up in the ranks, he will be popular. His or her merchandise will get sold. But there'll come a time, like we had the Tiger Woods example, right? Correct. Tiger Woods was so famous, and then there was a fall from grace.
Yeah.
And that's the flip side of attaching a brand to an individual. I mean, you're always wary. There are so many instances in cricket. right?
Exactly. I mean, that reminds me of one ad which Cred run where Rahul Dravid was getting angry
Right.
in a traffic jam. I mean, one could not imagine Rahul Dravid to get angry, and
Right.
we don't have that sort of.
Right.
So to have what you spoke about, the eyeballs,
Right.
so that in current scenario, I think to remain in somebody's brain, to have that attention, it's very competitive for brands. So brands tend to sometimes create a scenario where it remains with them for a longer period of time.
Right.
So for young audiences, I mean, our audiences are mostly of students.
Correct.
So who are aspiring to be marketers, where should be their start? What should be they looking for? Right.
So I think whether you're a marketeer starting early on in your career or midway through, or you're an accomplished marketeer, right? The fact is the basics remain. The whole thing about targeting the right audience, making sure the communication is clear, right? Doing it in a non-intrusive manner. But the bigger picture is more about, are you looking at the whole outcomes in its entirety, or are you looking at campaign to campaign, and are you looking short term? What we find nowadays is most people end up looking short term, right? Hey, I need to push this many crates or cartons or whatever of million pieces of this product, so let me run a campaign. Or I have an offering if it's a B2B segment, and let me do something with the banking segment for this offering, right? Cloud offering to make it more. Do you have a bigger vision and a mission? Do you have a bigger plan? Are you strategic about your marketing? And is this falling in as part of that big picture is really what you need to ask. And regardless of which phase of the marketing life cycle you are, or the experience cycle, it really holds good. Doesn't make a difference.
So what is it that top 1% of marketers in the world possess right now? The skills that they possess. What are your thoughts?
I think, this is a very subjective answer, right?
Right.
Everyone will have,
Maybe.
have a different opinion,
understand.
but I come back to marketing with authentic marketing, right? I think that's so important. If you're so a marketeer is the sort of brand owner, right? He is the guide, the sort of person who is tasked with making sure the brand has a better resonance than it is, and leaving it in a better state when he finishes, or he or she finishes off with the brand, right? It's important to look at authenticity. So it's more towards a long-term brand rather than short-term vision. I think that's so important, authenticity. And again, I keep harping about appealing to a person's heart, right? That's so important. Like the Cadbury ad, for example, right? I don't think anyone will ever look at a Cadbury ad and say, "Oh, this doesn't work." And it's such a simple thing. They've been doing it for years.
Right.
They haven't changed.
Right. So what I understood from your answer is like keep it short and simple. It's one way of looking at keeping the message and not complicated for the audiences. Since you have thorough experience in marketing, what would be your suggestion to universities or B schools in the marketing subject? What is that fundamental thing that you see that should be included in the pedagogy?
I think don't look at short term. Don't get misled by all of the newer platforms coming in, right? And that's important. That you require that for survival. You require that to meet your weekly, monthly, quarterly numbers, right? As a marketeer, impact. But stay focused on the bigger picture. Stay focused on what do you want to achieve out of this brand or out of this offering or solution, right? I think that's more important.
Right. I think I have one more interesting question. This will be my last question. Sorry to bother you for more time. This is about, there is a fundamental difference between marketeers, where certain marketeers say that this is more strategic, and certain marketeers like myself, because I come from a creative background, so because right now I work in marketing space, so I tend to be very creative in that. So
right.
So where is the balance? How to find balance between being strategic and between being creatively right?
Oh, that's a superb question, right? Because sometimes you get lost in being too creative,
Correct.
and we find that problem every now and then, right? You go so creative that you lose focus of business outcomes and
Exactly.
results. And on the flip side, you have guys who focused on business
Only on
outcomes and they lose objective of creativity. I think it's also to do with what you want to achieve, right? And it's with the business goal. So you can't market in isolation.
Right.
It has to be aligned to your business goals. And different industries have different yardsticks. The budgets are different, etc. Right? But it's important to focus on what your organization goals are, what the business goals are, short term and long term. And most often than not, you'll find the short term goals you're kind of using more of flawless execution, right, and getting stuff done. That's why the eyeball sort of appeal is going to be.
Right.
And you find for your long-term goals, it won't work. The eyeball sort of appeal won't work. You've got to look more on, being more genuine brand, right?
Yep.
And more focused on the strategic part of it and the creative part of it. So I think that's how the
So the bottom
spectrum
line
works.
is that for marketing aspirants, one, they have to be very good at fundamentals of marketing. Second, they have to be very focused and they need to understand what the goal of an organization is strategically. And then to reach more eyeballs in the current digital space that we have. So thank you so much. It was just a wonderful conversation
welcome.
with you.
Thank you.
We hope to see you for many more episodes to come.
Happy to
many
be
more
here.
events to. I hope you had a wonderful experience at Alliance.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.